Yo, what's up? It's another beautiful morning. I'm not sure, probably about 6 a.m. It's getting close to the time I gotta leave for work. But I felt like doing a video before I take off. Shadow is just sleeping on me over here, being a lazy bum. She's getting old. Anyhow, um, it's another horror film. This is a movie that came out when I was a kid, and I remember watching it and thinking that it was pretty awesome. I don't think I ever thought it was maybe like spectacular or whatever, but I remember thinking that was an awesome movie and that for what it was reasonably scary. We're talking about The Good Son. That's got Macaulay Culkin in the title role. Um, the very first thing that you notice about this movie when it starts is that the camera work is exceptional. I mean, exceptional. It's the cinematographer for this film was the guy in charge of the cinematography unit. I think, I'd imagine there was more guys than just one. It's not one guy with a camera. It's one guy making the camera shots be what they are. Now, his name is John Lindley, and he's done quite a few movies that you would think of, but one of them that I need to rewatch was Father of the Bride, which I remember always liking that movie. I thought it was cool. I'm a big Steve Martin guy. Come here, Shadow. People can see your shadow. You might as well just come here. If you're gonna get up, come here, bub. Oh, life is tough for a dog, huh? Okay. So, John Lindley. He did Father of the Bride, and he's done some other films that I enjoy. But, I mean, immediately you notice that the camera work in this movie is above what you normally see. Um, Usage of things that I don't think I've seen yet in a film. And maybe that's because they were all a little bit older. So I don't know if this guy was able to use like drones or something, or they were using cranes. I don't know exactly how he did this movie, but it's stunningly shot, the whole thing. And that doesn't really relinquish. The score is also stunningly shot in this film. Um, Not stunningly shot. You don't shoot a score. It was stunningly composed. I believe the man's name was Elmer Bernstein. Don't hold me to that one. Um, so the score and the shooting of this film just seem together and create the movie. Luckily, because everything else about this movie is far below that. And this is the first time I've watched a movie where the acting is just beneath the rest of the movie. It's just beneath it. I don't know how to explain it further than that. Um, Elijah Wood isn't that bad as the actual good son. He isn't that bad. He, I mean, he's a child actor in this movie, and the job he did was reasonable for a kid. I mean, I can't like really downplay his part that much, but you can't upplay his part that much either because there's no, they never sink their teeth into this film. It's kind of annoying in a way because as you're walking through the movie, like I just wanted that part of the movie to catch up to the rest of it, and it never did. It never seemed like it even had a chance, to be frank about it. There was just nothing there. Not enough there. It's not that there was nothing there. There just wasn't enough there. Maybe it was the direction of the film. I don't know. Maybe it was. And I don't think it was the kid's skill. I mean, we had already seen like, Elijah Wood in some things by then. We had already seen Macaulay Culkin in some things, notably Home Alone. And I mean, I think it's pretty fair to say that He was reasonable. He was a reasonably good actor. Macaulay Culkin. I'd say it's fair to reasonably good actor for Elijah Wood as a child. But in this movie, they just stepped it down. Particularly Macaulay Culkin. Now, I don't know if that was his fault. I don't know if it was his father's fault for trying to force him into a film that he didn't really belong in. I don't know if it was the director's fault because he wasn't quite sure what to do with this kid. I know they had other kids in mind prior to him, and his father, who was powerful in Hollywood at the time, kind of pushed him into it. Not only him, but his siblings as well. Um, and I thought his little sister was actually the best part of this movie. Her name in real life is Quinn, and she was cute. She was just a cute little kid, nice kid, who didn't deserve the things that were happening to her, and she was probably my favorite part of the movie. Um, as far as Macaulay Culkin goes, I feel like in a way it had to be the direction of, you know, the the older people on set of the movie that kind of determined how his character was going to be played. And it was a weird character because there's the kid from Home Alone, and then there's this evil kid. And they get blending. There was times when I felt like I was watching Home Alone because the way that his character developed, he I don't know if they were trying to play it where he had a dichotomy in his spirit and where part of him was kind of a good kid who just wanted to laugh and have fun, and part of him was just a dickhead who took everything too far. But it seemed more like they were trying to play him as evil. And there were moments here and there throughout the film where he seemed a little bit menacing. There were moments. But the majority of the film, it seemed like the Home Alone kid just got stuck in a different movie and didn't know how to work it out between trying to maintain a level of inherent violence, but also trying to seem likable enough to get this kid to even play with you in the first place. Um, so it's not a terrible film. I don't want to say that it's terrible, but I think for me personally, it's because the cinematography and the sound score and the score of this movie are just so far above everything else that it just took me outside of it. And I don't know if that's because I'm watching films with an eye to review now. So I try to like piece all the parts of it together and see what worked for me and what didn't. The acting worked the least, and that was everyone. That was everyone in the whole film. Um, with the exception of Elijah Wood, who overacted. I thought that he, again, probably due to direction because he was just a kid. And the little sister being the most believable part of it was also annoying because she wasn't in it nearly enough. Like, he wanted her to be in it more, and she wasn't, so that was a little bit frustrating. But ultimately, for anyone who watched this movie a long time ago and hasn't seen it in a long time, it's worth a little bit of a rewatch. It ain't gonna hurt you to check it out again. If you've never seen it, I might just not recommend watching it because you're not gonna have a nostalgic feeling for that time period. You're not gonna have a nostalgic unless I mean maybe you may have a nostalgic feeling for Macaulay Culkin from that era and you just want to see him in something different. So you know what? I'll recommend it to anyone who gets a little wistful feeling when they are reminded of their childhood. I'll say watch it. If you don't feel that way, you could probably just skip it. It ain't gonna be that big of a deal. The Good Son. I'm gonna give this thing. Uh, I'm gonna give it a 6, which I think is my worst rating so far. for any movie that I've done a review on. But I'm sure it'll probably get worse than that as time goes by. The Good Son's not unwatchable, but not particularly rewatchable. Although, under the auspices of making this channel, I did so for you. So, give me some ideas in the comments about movies I could watch. Have a good day.